Aliia Roza is here. I really enjoyed meeting Aliia last year, and we've told you her story before. You might have heard her on Bernie and Sid yesterday. She is a Russian spy turned entrepreneur and fashion blogger. Hello, Aliia. How's it going?
Hello, Frank. So nice to see you again.
Now, you're in town for Fashion Week?
Yes, it just finished today, the last day.
Oh, so now what goes on in Fashion Week for people that have never been to Fashion Week, never been to any of the parties? What goes on?
So many changes after COVID. We're actually filming a documentary about how COVID has affected and transformed fashion industry, because lots of shows were digitally and people could just like see it online, and many more designers started to do like Metaverse and NFT, which is a really interesting thing. And it's like really amazing because you can try clothes online digitally like Balenciaga do, and then you can see, would you like to buy it or not?
I have spent a lot of time looking into the metaverse, and I have some friends that are positive that this is not just the future, but really the present of everything. And that people are going to be doing all sorts of things in the metaverse, meeting in the metaverse, going to ball games in the metaverse. And apparently now, and this was a use function that I never thought about, going to fashion shows in the metaverse?
Yes, correct. And then you can also try different kind of clothes.
Wow.
As well.
Wow.
So you have your avatar and you change different, like whatever, shoes, jackets, suits, anything.
Well, that's pretty neat. When can people look forward to seeing that documentary that you're working on now?
Documentary will be very, very out soon, just in a few weeks, actually.
Really? Where can people find that?
In Hulu.
Oh, Hulu. So that
and also 24 fashion platforms on Roku.
Cool. What should they be looking for on Hulu when it comes out?
The name is How COVID Was Affected how COVID did affect the fashion industry.
Terrific. We'll check that out. All right. Aliia Roza is here. We'll talk more about the metaverse and fashion if time permits. Hey, how did you enjoy being on with Sid Rosenberg yesterday?
I love that show. It was so much fun.
He's a little out there, isn't he?
We will not gossip. Just No, I loved him. He's really great, talented, and really, really, funny. So all this question was so unpredictable, to be honest.
That's right. That's what makes him so interesting and so lovable. I have been eager to connect with you to get your take on what is happening with Ukraine and Russia. So depending on who you believe, we're either getting closer to a Russian invasion of Ukraine, or we're getting closer to tempers being, things being calmed down a bit. Some people are saying that there's a Russian troop withdrawal. Other folks are saying that it's false, that there is no Russian troop withdrawal. Now, you've served in the military. You had a really, as you described in your last appearance here, a very rough upbringing where you were essentially trained to kill and be a spy at a very young age. Not going to have you revisit all that. But as you're watching this unfold now here in America, what's your take? What do you think's going to happen?
So it's my opinion, right? I'm not a politician,
sure,
but everybody knows that Putin is a very, very clever, smart man, and I don't want to believe that he will want people to suffer, especially after COVID, when countries really don't have budget for the war, right? And I do understand that perhaps Russia will have some sanctions. For example, they will switch off Russia from the SWIFT, and it would be really terrible. But you know what? If you do something wrong, you have to be punished, right? So I hope everything will be calmed down. But from my perspective, I don't think that they will do invasion.
Now, you have had to basically abandon any connection, any relationship that you had with your family and friends that live in Russia,
True.
right?
Yes.
I mean, that's got to be very tough.
Very tough.
Yeah, and it really makes you appreciate how lucky a lot of us are who were born in the United States, and it makes you appreciate a lot of these freedoms that so many of us often
I love
take
America,
for granted.
Honestly, like I lived, as I said today, in so many different European countries, but America gave me home, and I'll do everything to protect these people, this nation. This is my home.
Now, well, I think that's wonderful, and that's great, and it's something. It's an attitude that I wish more Americans who were born here had and embraced. Now, I saw, you were kind enough to tag me in an Instagram post, and if folks want to find you on Instagram, they can find you at Roza at Roza Spy or at Aliia Roza.
Aliia Roza, or just press Roza Spy, and it's easy to find.
But now, so the first thing I notice when you tag me is I look at your profile, and you've got 1 million followers. Now, how did you build up this sort of mini empire of fashionistas and people that are interested in fashion and the fashion business, coming to this country essentially with nothing, being forced to flee the country that you were born in? How do you build up an empire like this?
Frank, I just work so hard. I even don't have time to eat sometimes, honestly. And I do a lot of projects, and I just organized a big event in Beverly Hills for the Veterans Day to support them. And as I told you before, I organized more than 30 events for charitable foundations, which were supported. Which was actually supporting royal family in the United Kingdom. And I met in person Prince Charles and the Queen Elizabeth, and it was an amazing experience. So I'd like to proceed. I'd like to do more. And I would say how I built my little empire. I just used to work from very early age, and I'm quite disciplined. And this is really important, just to self-discipline yourself, and also to communicate with other people. It's so important just to be friendly, and I love America for that, because people here are so open-minded. You can do business so fast, and in Europe it's not like that. So I'm really blessed to be here and work here as well.
We're talking with Aliia Roza. You're, I guess, best described as a serial entrepreneur. You're doing this documentary, which people can see on Hulu in a couple of weeks. You do event planning. You're involved in a lot of different businesses. How would you describe to people the business that you're in?
I would say this is PR, public relations. That's what I do. I have my agency, Roza PR, and I have many, many clients who really need the promotional marketing and brand management services. So we do all kind of services. We can, organize the whole photo shoot for the cover for the Vogue, for example, and organize an event and create the whole video campaign, the promotion campaign for the brand. So many things, any type of press. But I also mentioned today to Sid that I'm writing the book as well, How to Seduce Like a Spy, where I would like to share my skills and my knowledges, which I got and I was taught in the training academy in
that's
Russia.
A book that's going to be worth buying. But give us one pro tip. Give us one tip, and we'll have you back when the book comes out. But give us one tip that people can utilize in their own lives. Maybe if they're in a committed relationship, a marriage, or a monogamous, non-marriage, or if they're just single and ready to mingle. What's one piece of advice that you can offer someone as, maybe from the spy playbook?
The seduction, right? Mm-hmm. The seduction thing. There's so many, but I would say the most important is the eye contact and the smile. Nothing can be better, but the truly one, right? When you look into your eyes and you smile at the same time, and you start a nice conversation. Now,
it sounds simple, but it's very effective, isn't it? 800-848-WABC. Joe in Queens has a question for you.
Yeah. My two questions would be, first of all, being from Russia, I'm just wondering how the population spaces out. I know there were a lot of farmers, but they said that people tend to congregate in cities like Moscow now, younger people. And I'm wondering how that would affect the spy work, because I had read a book that goes way back, With God in Russia, about a Polish priest in the 50s. And he ended up working in Siberia, but they apprehended him and followed him all over the place, and he ended up being the best changer of truck tires in the country. But the effort they put into tracking this guy and spying on him seemed out of proportion.
So the question, if I'm clear, Joe, is how the migratory patterns in Russia would affect spying? Is that the question?
Well, in other words, like, it's a huge country, and the population is only 150 million people. So I'm wondering how that affects everything.
Okay. Any insight into that, Aliia?
Well, honestly, I would say like that. It's a really pour out of the capital of Russia, which is Moscow, and people, unfortunately, don't have any possibility to earn money. Mostly of them, they live very just like agricultural kind of life, and as you know, it's like very cold winters, so they don't really have a stable, comfortable lifestyle, unfortunately. So the young generation moving to big cities, and then they take any kind of job. And I know that a lot of my friends, they all of them want to move out to United States. And then everybody asks me on Instagram, when they find me, they say like, how can we move to United States? It's a great country. You're so lucky. And I'm like, yes, I am lucky. United States is the best country on earth.
Amen. It certainly is. In terms of this Russia-Ukraine situation, one of the things that U.S. intelligence officials have been warning Americans and the world about is that the Russians might try to use some sort of a false flag operation where they make it look like they're being attacked as a pretense for invasion. Now, you indicated that you don't think an invasion is going to happen, but is that sort of playbook, the use of a false flag, is that something that the Russian military would do and has done?
Frank, that politics is a very dirty business, right? So
Sure.
We really don't know what might happen in this sense. And I just know that from my perspective, I believe that America has the strongest army. So this is the most important, right? And as I told you before, like Russia now, it's from my very kind of like close between my friends' opinions. They don't have that much budget to go and to start the war.
Yeah, well, I hope you're right. And again, that's what I've been saying. We've heard from a lot of experts that have said the same thing. Now, you are one of my favorite guests for a lot of reasons. One, that you're willing to come in here, whether it's 1 a.m. or 4 a.m. Two, because you have great insight into geopolitical affairs and the fashion industry. Three, because you always have a great attitude. But for me, the coup de grace is you brought a bottle of wine. And this is for me?
Of course.
This is wonderful.
I just want to tell you thank you so much.
This is really kind.
I'm really happy to see you again.
Every guest should bring a bottle of wine. This
Did
is
you
wonderful.
hear that, guys? You should bring wine.
This is very kind, very kind. This looks like a nice bottle. I love Cabernet. I'm gonna. I don't know that I'll get to drink this tonight, but maybe my wife and I will have a glass or two on Friday. So that's very nice. You heading back to Los Angeles today?
Yes, in the evening.
All right. Well, when's your next trip to New York?
Next Fashion Week, which will be like in September.
Wonderful. Well, we will look forward to seeing you back next September. Actually, Joe in Orange County has a question for you as well. Joe, you're on with Aliia Roza.
How you doing, Frank? How you doing, Aliia?
Hi, Joe. Thank you so much.
I just got a quick question for you. Now you're an ex-spy and everything. Does any kind of, you don't have no recourse of anything, like, with anybody trying to bother you? Like, there's other Russian people that are in this country. I'm sure they're all happy citizens, but I was just curious.
Meaning, like, if there was some sort of a Russian agent or sort of a contract out on her or something?
Right.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
We hear that from a lot of ex-mobsters, is they feel like they're in danger perpetually of telling tales out of school. Do you worry about that kind of thing? Do you look behind you wherever you go?
Joe, honestly, like, I lived in fears for 15 years. I never really told about this story, me being a special agent, anyone. just started to open up myself here in America when I got my documents, my green card. That's why I say it's my home. I'm blessed. I love this country and I feel secure and safe. First time in my life. So yes, I've been contacted by different kind of like organizations, military organizations from Russia, and in Instagram, of course, they could find me, right? So, but see, the point is that I'm not scared now because I can say that I'm also living here and I'm part of like, of United States, and I believe this country will protect me. And second, whatever happened was like 15 years ago, and I'm not telling any names or something like that. I'm not telling
right. You're
anyone.
not giving any top secret information that could put anybody else in harm's way.
Yeah, I'm just willing to share my expertise and my skills in terms of how to seduce people. I hope it will help, but that's all.
Joe, thanks for the call.
Frank,
yeah.
Frank, one more thing, Frank. You know what I love about this woman? She loves this country. You have people in this country like professional athletes. They make millions and millions of dollars and they kneel for the flag. And here's this woman that loves this country dearly. People should be listening to this woman. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. And as the old story goes, sometimes you don't know what you have until it's gone, and that certainly can apply to a lot of freedoms that a lot of Americans take for granted. Aliia, it is always a treat to see you, and it's even more of a treat when you're bringing wine.
Thank you so much, Frank. Honestly, thank you for having me, and have a good evening, everybody. Have a good morning.
Thank you, and thanks for keeping Sid in line on the morning show yesterday. See, I knew he wasn't going to get too fresh because you're one of the few guests that could actually kill him, even with his roided out body and physique. There.
He's great.
He really is.
You're amazing, guys. I love you.
Thank you. Aliia Roza, you could follow her on Instagram, and she's got 1 million followers, but maybe you can be number 1,000,001. Find her, just search Roza Spy, Roza Spy. That comes up, and there's a lot of great photos on there, a lot of great videos, and a lot of great content in general. Hey, 15 seconds of fame next. Be heard on any subject for 15 seconds. 800-848-9222. This is The Other Side of Midnight. Straight ahead.
WABC.